So I want to tell you a little bit about our company. Golin is a global communications firm with over 50 wholly owned offices and 30-some odd affiliates. We were founded around 60 years ago by a man named Golin in Chicago, and he's really instilled this sense of Midwestern culture in the fabric of our company, and it's kind of trickled through to different assets of what we work with. We are now a top 10 firm with over 1,000 employees and 150 clients. Internally, we have a very unique structure. We are organized in 4 specialty communities. So we have our strategists, that we call them. They're business analysts. They provide a lot of insight and research for our clients' business. We have creators, web developers, graphic designers, writers, who shape all of the creative content that we output. Our connectors have anything and everything to do with our media relations, both social to traditional. And then our catalysts are the ones who manage the relationships. From those specialist communities, it's then pared down by practices. We have 8 different practices, and then from there, based upon geographical location. So as you can see, it's a bit of a complicated internal communications landscape. I also want to touch on our culture. Like I said, our Midwestern roots have really helped shape our people-focused culture. We tend to attract a lot of top talent that not only wants to share their expertise, but they want to work with others who have completely different insights and thoughts and come together to create something new. We try to foster this collaboration with open plan office layouts, and each office has their own unique solution for sharing the information, but as a marketing team, we're always looking for new ways to package and share globally. That being said, so far so good. Any questions? I mean, pretty straightforward. So before Igloo, we had a very siloed, outdated method of communicating globally to our employees. So this is Victoria. This lovely lady sits across from me, and you'll kind of see our open plan offices. Victoria works in new business, so she needs to get content fast. It needs to be updated and current, and she needs to get back to her job. And what we were supporting as a team wasn't helping her do her job. It ended up making her job more difficult. So we had multiple social portals that functioned similar to Twitter, but they were closed by community. So people weren't working together, they were just talking amongst themselves, which they can easily do in email, shout across the office. And it promoted a bit of a silo mentality, and we would be seeing outdated content that was being circulated. It was hard for us to manage. We also had an extremely unpopular SharePoint-based intranet that was not aesthetically pleasing. It was not organized well. So it was ultimately not liked. No one was on it, and it wasn't helping foster the collaboration that we created within our company. So our old internet was very much based upon transactions. There was a command and control, there was facts, there were dates, there were commitments. It was very much a single source of truth, the higher power of corporate, and nothing else. So this is just a little screenshot of what we were working with. I told you it wasn't aesthetically pleasing, but there's no content hierarchy. It's all one-way communication, and it wasn't working for us. So we knew what we didn't need. We needed to kind of figure out what we ultimately wanted to achieve, big picture. We wanted it to foster collaboration and interaction. We wanted ideas and insights and engagement. We wanted this open forum where everyone can grow together and share information. So we also set out to create goals, specific goals that we wanted our platform to achieve. We needed one place where everyone can go and get information and share information. We wanted to foster this global community that we had, instead of siloing by continent or by office. We wanted to make sharing knowledge easier so that people do it more often. You know, as busy professionals, that happens rarely. So we wanted to figure out a way to create an environment where that can happen. Trying so hard to decrease the dependency on email. We're still working on it, but it's also freed us up a lot from the 20 megs of space you get through attachments. It's wonderful. And then, of course, the ultimate bottom line is, stop reinventing the wheel. Why do we keep doing the same thing because we forgot where we saved it on our desktop? Something like that. So now that we had an idea of our goals, we needed to figure out what our platform needed to achieve for us. We are based under IPG, so IPG is our holding company. So our IT team supports multiple other companies under that umbrella. So we didn't have a lot of access to them. And we needed a site that was going to be intuitive, and we needed a team to help us if we couldn't figure out. We wanted something built in, a relationship built in. It needed to be easy to use. We didn't have the resources to put an enormous team behind this project, so it was crucial that this thing was easy to roll out and make live. Of course, it needs to have the file sharing capability. Everyone has Dropbox, but everyone's doing their own thing. It's segmented. It's living out in no man's land. We needed it in one area. We needed to foster our culture of communicators. We needed to make sure that it was seamless with other applications that we couldn't get rid of. It needed to grow as we grow. It needed to change as we are changing. It's 2014, mobile-enabled, multilingual, that's a must. And obviously, most important, when you're selling this in to the C-suite, they need to see that it's cost effective. All right, how are we feeling? So good? Awesome. You guys are great. Okay, so this is the fun part. This is getting to work. This is really building upon all of these thoughts and ideas, and it's really paring it down. So choosing a name. This was a pretty intensive process for us. Your name needs to be easy to spell. Oh yeah, there's some good ones. It needs to be easy to spell. It needs to be easily said. You have to remember it. It has to be original. It has to be cross-cultural. There's tons of other things I'm probably not mentioning. So what we did is we sent out an email to all of our staff saying, hey, we're building this awesome intranet. We want you to be a part of this. Let's all get excited. What kind of names do you want? So what you're seeing up here is probably the best of the best. You'll see play on names like the Golin Daily, the Globe, that's not really a play on name, Golin Global, things like that. You also see some far out suggestions. I think there's the G spot somewhere up here, pants, just all across the board. So we narrowed it down to the highlighted sections, but ultimately we went with Simon. So Simon, why Simon? Its predecessor was Alvin, so right? It was easy to reference saying, oh, go check Simon. There's a nice throwback reference to Simon Says that we tried to incorporate in the launch. And there's great interactive games on the web that we enabled into our site to kind of let our employees mind wander, but they're doing it on our internet, so we're okay with it. But most importantly, Simon was a business friend, we'll say, to our founder, and was really a great sounding board for when he was building his company. And we thought that aligned very well with our message and what we were trying to do. So I talked to you about our structure, communities, then practices, then offices. We knew we couldn't have a blanket solution. It had to be very specific to each of these groups. And this is an area that we really leaned on Igloo for. We kind of knew what we wanted, we thought, but we didn't know the functionality or best practices. So in this case, we worked a lot with Igloo to troubleshoot and figure out best practices. So now I'd like to take you through a tour. And this is the first thing that employees see when they get to Simon. We wanted to make sure that it had top-line agency news because we knew that they'd be drilling down to their community or their practice or their office and ultimately skip over this kind of thing. We wanted to make it very visual to catch attention. And everything you see here is one click away. So it's easy for them to watch a video, to go to the Golin Awards, to get a logo. We also wanted to showcase trending pages, which aren't really trending. We just wanted to make sure that they'd go there, so we just trended. Perfect, go. So this is the first thing people see, and we also built this HTML slideshow that is rotating, and it's just like a quick burst of information. So if you drill down further into the agency section, we really wanted to promote a sense of knowledge. So here you'll have everything from credentials, to templates, to logos, to RFPs and case studies. And my favorite portion of the agency section is this agency news blog. In it, the executive team and the marketing team can post important agency news. And here you'll see a post from our CEO, Fred. And in it, he's talking about this major global hire, something that we would normally have sent out through an email and say, meet Pamela, here's her bio, enjoy. Here, he's sharing personal thoughts about how he's feeling about this major initiative. He's embedding a video where we interviewed her, and we got a little bit more insight into what she was planning on doing in her new role. So it's really exciting, and the great thing about this is there is a comment section where people can share what they're thinking, congratulate Pamela on getting to Golin. And we've created this informal page where people feel comfortable interacting with our CEO. Through email, no one's going to respond to the CEO's email and say, thanks for the update, Fred, totes preach, or something like that. But here, we're allowing for them to interact, and he'll interact back with them. And it works well on both ends. So if we're drilling down now from agency to communities, those 4 specialists I was talking about, we really wanted to promote collaboration. In these areas, we have everything from tools and training for these specialists to a Get Inspired page, which is really great. It talks either about external things that are happening, like look at what this competitor did, but it's really cool, let's check it out. Or we'll get a lot of client work that wasn't passed. So something that the team felt really proud of, but didn't get the ultimate approval. So they wanted to share it, and it's great. What we're looking at here is actually a page on the media specialists space. Here we have the top stories from all of the top major news outlets. So they leave this on, and they can monitor for anything that would impact the clients that they are on. I like to think it would replace Google Alerts, but I know it doesn't. Okay, drilling down now into practices, we really wanted to showcase the expertise that lies within. Brian here shared this information about how to respond to client requests. It was a very particular one-off situation about Wikipedia editing. So he shared this blog or this post, and then tagged other people that helped him come to this conclusion and that worked well for the client. When you tag people, similar to Twitter, Facebook, what have you, they'll get little notifications, and we've seen that promotes quicker responses and more interaction. So what's great about this is he'll get comments and responses that are saying, hey, I was in a similar situation, and this is what we came up with. Here's the attachment of what we did. Hopefully it'll be helpful. And it all lives in one place. It's not a 20 different emails that are only privy to the people who are on the recipient list. If anyone needs to find this information, they can just search editing Wikipedia, and they'll come across this, and they'll know the content owners who, if they have more questions, they can go directly to them. And then offices. We really just wanted our offices to promote culture. Yes, it has HR information. Yes, it has news, but it really needed to kind of give the office their own entity within the global sphere, if you will. So they have everything from calendar events to photo albums to posts to the microblog, the Twitter-like feature. And this is our London office, who does a great job at making everyone jealous about how social they are able to gather their everyone in their office and go out on, team building, going out to the pub, what have you, and they'll wait for the next day to post it and then reminisce. And we all get to see it, which is fun, and it kind of makes you want to up your game a little bit and share information. Yeah.
So is that only showing London office, the London office for the London office, or can the London office see others too?
Everything is open, yes. Yes, and everyone can interact. So I can go here and I can comment like, that looks amazing. Where is this? Or invite me next time. Everything is open, everyone can write anywhere. Okay, so now that we've gone through the different structure, or the different buckets of our structure, I want to touch upon the customization that we work with Igloo to do. And in particular, the RFP Q&A search. So you guys remember Victoria. She's a little harried. She's got a lot going on. She needs to find things quick. We knew we needed to help her, but we didn't really know how. And so we worked with Igloo to create this customization. We have every RFP, RFI pitch for the last 2 years. So if people are searching, if people are responding to a piece of new business and they want a consumer focused or tech or product launch, they can search it and find the context in which all this information lives. And this specifically allows them to search for certain answers to commonly asked questions. So they don't have to email a practice leader and ask them, hey, what have you done in the past? They can find it here, and they can find the content owner as well as how it's been used in context with other RFPs and RFIs.
Is that accessible from the menu on top, or?
Yes. So if you drill down, if you hit, this is within our agency section.
Oh, okay.
Right. So as soon as you click agency, you'll see RFP Q&A, I believe it's called.
Okay.
Right. Were there any other questions about how we built the community and how we chose to structure it? Yeah.
What kind of, did you get, quantitative input or, employee groups that participate, or, how did you create that? Here's what we need, and that, thus serving as a baseline, I guess, for
moving
the
forward.
new improved version.
Absolutely. So we did focus groups regionally, just to make sure we got a good dose of what was happening. And what we found out was the previous platforms that we were using, they had favorite parts to them, if that makes sense. And so what we did is we kind of cultivated, we built it out. So let me step back. We organized all that information. We built out in a beta phase, if you will, and then we launched it to every level within the community practice office, but just a select group of people, so that they could test and play around and let us know what they think, and things like that. Did that answer it? I know that's a little bit more top line.
And so was there a comparison, when you say the employees didn't like the initial version?
Right.
Where did you get that from, and was there something that, when you go to your leaders, top leaders, and say, oh, we improved this, and this is by how much, how were you able to?
So all of these sites have metrics. So basically quantifying from SharePoint, where we're starting, we could see that like news articles or information wasn't being downloaded, and we would be talking to people and feeding like, hey, did you see this X, Y, and Z, and they wouldn't have seen it. So we sent out this this poll quiz to interact and see gauge the feelings on it. So from there, we kind of started taking our steps into looking into our options. And I know we spoke with SocialCast and Jive and a few others. And speaking with these companies and speaking with Igloo, it it was easier to pare down what was working and what wasn't. So employees are saying, we can't share information quickly. Okay, so talking to these guys to see, best practices as far as in the past, how that worked and how it didn't. I don't know if I'm answering the
How long
question.
did the process take? Just that.
It took, for us, over a year. We had a very special circumstance, so I don't think that's necessarily a common situation, but it took us a year.
Devan, can I just jump in for a second, just talking
Yeah.
about
Okay.
one of the things that some of the platforms, including Igloo, have associated with them is a social analytics capability, which essentially social analytics is, think of it as all the interaction people have to with people, so microblogging one another, blogging one another, sort of thing, and people have with content. So that gives you a lot of information because it literally can give you a report on the health of your community on the basis of really whatever you want to look at. So the most common thing you want to look at for the health of a community is when's the last time they logged in? What's the percentage of people who are logging in on a regular basis? What's the percentage of people who have filled out their profile and how much of their profile, because that's how you find people. Which content is trending, so it's being downloaded or commented upon the most. And you can get a report and you can compare month over month, week over week, and team by team, that sort of thing, on which communities are doing better, which groups are doing better, and then take lessons from what's happening there and apply it elsewhere. And so that's a lot of sort of the science behind it, and that capability is built into the platform.
That was kind of what I was getting to, and then connected to that is, I wouldn't see it so much with Golin, but with a more traditional company. I've heard this out of the mouths of top executives, that why is this at the top of our, using some entertainment or commenting on it, more social. We should have news on, our new product launch at the top of the, and there's not really receptivity as much to that sort of engagement for the sake of engagement, which kind of leads into engagement in other things. Have you seen that with other?
Yeah, so I guess the way I would answer that is, one, you do want to measure workflows, real business workflows that result in productivity and increased performance and time to market and all the things that are important in your company. And you want to measure those. And one of the best practices that Devan, I think, would agree to is you want to establish a baseline for how it was before you invested in this new technology and how it is after. And so there's no getting around that. You need to look at real hard-hitting business workflows that are important to your company, and you need to measure them. On the social side of things, when you see people sharing information that's more social in nature, you get that. People are social. You get that, the water cooler in the cafeteria, you're gonna get that anyway. This just allows people a forum to be able to share that type of information alongside of business information, and it's very natural. When it starts to be incorporated digitally, it's just a digital version of what's already happening. It doesn't detract from the actual productivity. It just, I think it really endears people one to the next and really shows the personal side.
Yeah, and the selling point is when you do that, you do increase collaboration, et cetera, on real business.
Exactly. Yeah. Sorry, Devan?
No, thank you. So lessons learned. The first column is more focused on where you're launching your intranet, and it's pretty much people focused. You need executive buy-in and participation from the get-go. Not only are they the ones signing off on budgets and approvals, but if they're as engaged in this intranet as you are, it's going to be a top-bottom trickle down. So, like you saw with the Fred's post, he's posting content and people are interacting with him. You need to plan and staff appropriately. And with that, you need to assign content owners. This isn't a 3-person job. This isn't a 1-department job. It needs to happen at the executive level. It needs to happen at the marketing level. It needs to happen in the specialty level. And you need to communicate regularly with those stakeholders. You need to have this unified mission that you stand behind as you move forward and build this out. You also need to make sure,
So on your plan and staff appropriately, did you significantly change how you staffed the site from what you had before?
Yes. When we were working with SharePoint, it was about 2 people. Because it was command and control, we just needed to update information and then we were done. In this situation, we wanted to make sure that we had various bits of information for specialty level or for an executive level, and that's not something my team can do. And it's not something we should be doing. People are going to be a little bit more receptive to the executive director of digital talking about digital content than they are to me. And when they see someone that they know, that they respect, there's more likely that people are going to engage with them and come back.
So to that end, it wasn't like you increased your staff, it was that you were involving people in other parts of the business and
Exactly.
taking ownership from
Exactly.
them to participate.
100%.
Okay, thank you.
Scalable solutions. We needed to create, or I should say, make sure that our platform would be able to change after we launched it in the event that what we built wasn't what our audience wanted. And it needed to be quick and nimble at that time. You need a plan beyond your launch. Just having a 2-3 month communication plan won't cut it. This is an ongoing thing. You need to get to know your audience, and this kind of ladders up to the scalable solutions. Your audience behaviors, no matter how well you plan for them, no matter how well you test and poll, are going to be different once they're actually interacting with the site. From there, you're going to get to know your, did I start one? Yeah, so from there, you're going to get to see super users who rise above the everyday, and they're going to be the ones who are going to come up with new solutions. They're going to be the ones who are going to interact with others and bring more people to the site because they want to hear from them. They don't want to hear from me. And then the 2 most important and hardest to get over are these last 2 here: is be patient. Old habits die hard. Even though you might not be getting the engagement that you're looking to within the first month or 2, it'll change. You have to stick with it. And it's never 100% finished. We pushed back our launch several times because we were nervous that we weren't there yet. And there's never there, ever. So being comfortable with that and being comfortable taking risks and moving forward and evolving with your company